Hi everyone. Let's talk about WWE NXT New Year's Evil. This show was a decent show at best, in my opinion. Let's talk about it, guys. So the show kicks off with a video showcasing of the highlights from 2025 NXT, as well as some of the events leading up to the show. And Vince Joseph and Booker T greet audience at home as Thea Hill makes her way to the ring, and Blake Monroe blindsides Thea Hill on the entrance ramp and attacks her from behind. And then she hits Thea Hill with a chair in her midsection and cracks it across her spine, then sends her crashing into the barricade. Then we had Ricky Saints coming out, guys. Yes, Ricky Saints coming out and stuff. Let's talk about it, guys. Ricky Saints says, well, the Women's North American Championship might be put on pause right now. He thought he would give everyone a gift, and he says he knows the fans feel some type of way about him, but he really needs NXT. He really needed NXT last year. I was thinking he really needed NXT last year, and he says the tables have turned and NXT needs him now. Then he said Devon Evans and Trick Williams choose to be free agents and sign with WWE Raw and WWE SmackDown respectfully. And he says people couldn't compete. Compare. I was thinking couldn't compete where they couldn't compare when says there's only room for one star, him. And Ricky Saints says the sad truth of everyone in the back that he's not going anywhere, and that he says if anyone comes at him, he'll send them right where they came from. And he says no one else is absolutely like him, as he says from day one that says he actually who he says he is, and says he'll handle Leon Slater in due time. If he wins the NXT championship, he then addressed Obafemi and says he doesn't sit right with him that they each hold a win over one another. I was thinking one another, and he says regardless of who wins the NXT championship tonight, NXT is still in his hands as the NXT Championship, which abuse absolutely. And then, but the breaks, Ever Reigns finds Blake Monroe backstage and asks her what she was thinking attacking Thea Hill. And Blake Monroe demands that Ever Reigns just gave her the Women's North American Championship, but Ever Reigns responds by telling Blake Monroe she's going nowhere near the title and it is banned from the Performance Center. Then we had Easy Dame fences Tatum Paisley. This was a fun match, and Tatum Paisley picked up the win right here, guys. Tatum Paisley and stuff, guys, which I thought she should have been the one facing, Thea Hill. She picked up the win, but it is what it is. Um, Happy for Easy Dame. We're going to talk about that here in a bit, guys. Really happy for her, but I don't know what they're doing with the North American title, playing hot potato with it. You know what I'm saying, with the women's North American title, if they're playing hot potato with that. But we'll talk about that here in a bit too. So we had Tatum Paisley fences Easy Dane with the cooling. Let's talk about it, guys. The bell rings and Easy Dane gets Tatum Paisley on her shoulder, and she sends Tatum Paisley crashing into the top turnbuckle face first and fires up forearms on her. But Tatum Paisley responds with a several of her own, and Easy Dame whips Tatum Paisley into the corner. But Tatum Paisley uses the ropes to shrinks back on Easy Dame and legs with a half Boston Crab. And Tatum Paisley continues wearing down Tatum Paisley's leg with a submission and sends her bouncing off the mat, then delivers a flipping kick to Easy Dame from the ring apron as Easy Dame is strapped through the middle ropes, and Easy Dame rocks Tatum Paisley with a forearm that sends her crashing into the floor, then sends her crashing into the announce desk, and then ring apron spine first during the break. Then Easy Dame dumps Tatum Paisley back in the ring and goes for a pin, and then Tatum Paisley kicks out, but Easy Dame fires up, stomps on her, and uses the ring ropes, and then wrists back on her spine, and then Tatum Paisley lets a chop block to Easy Dame, but Easy Dame wears down Tatum Paisley with a submission hold. Then back from the break, Easy Dame pins Tatum Paisley, but Tatum Paisley kicks out. Then Easy Dame launches a Boston Crab on Tatum Paisley, but Tatum Paisley crawls over to the bottom rope to break the hold and connects with a Spanish fly off the top rope on Easy Dame. Then Easy Dame and Tatum Paisley then exchange strikes with one another, but Tatum Paisley levels Easy Dame and delivers a kick to her, and then follows it up with a German suplex, but Easy Dame catches Tatum Paisley with a sit-out powerbomb and pins her. Then Tatum Paisley kicks out and sets up for the cycle strap on Easy Dame, but Easy Dame offenses it and sends Tatum Paisley crashing into the ring steps and spine first, and she delivers a 450 splash to Easy Dame and follows it up with the Chaos strap for the win, and that's how Tatum Paisley defeated Easy Dame, guys. Then back from the break, Ever Rain approaches Thea Hill and Jordan Grace in the medical office as an injury. Thea Hill is being checked on to distract Thea Hill, pushing back. Oh, excuse me. Just discuss Thea Hill pushing back her Women's North American Championship match, and Thea Hill insists on defending the title tonight. Excuse me again. Well, Ever Rain tells her that she banned Blake Monroe from the building and she can put her title up for the grabs in an open challenge. Then back at ringside, Kendall Gray and Winston Sinclair make their way to the ring, and a final influence follows. And we had Jenny Jane fences Kendall Gray, and I think Kendall Gray should have won that match. That would have been crazy if she would have been two belts. Man, imagine Kendall Gray as two champion, Kendall two belts. Imagine if Kendall two belts, man. That'd have been great. That would have been great, man. I'm telling you. But Jacy Jayne, she's great. I'm telling you, Jacy Jayne. I don't know when she's going to lose that title again, but you know what I'm saying. Like I said again, I had a little disagreement with the Tatum Paisley when she holded that belt, and I wish that she would have had a longer title reign. Tatum Paisley, but it is what it is. But let's talk about it anyways, guys. Let's carry on. The bell rings and Gray dropkicks Jacy Jayne out of the ring, and then she falls off the apron with a crossbody to level Jacy Jayne and Fallon Haley and Lyndon Reed onto the outside before dumping Jacy Jayne into the ring, and Jacy Jayne responds by dragging Kendall Gray back out of the ring and sending her crashing into the barricade spine first. Then Jacy Jayne gets Kendall Gray back into the ring and delivers a suicide to Kendall Gray and then goes for a pin, but Kendall Gray kicks out and Jacy Jayne levels her with a twist kick and follows it up with a back elbow, then fires up with a couple of hammers and an elbow on Kendall Gray and wears her down with a sense of a crossface, and then Kendall Gray and Jacy Jayne leveled one another with a crossface, but Kendall Gray lands a pair of boots on Jacy Jayne's midsection and spikes her with a DDT, and Jacy Jayne responds with a neckbreaker to Kendall Gray, but Kendall Gray delivers a trio of German suplex to Jacy Jayne, and Jacy Jayne lands a knee strike on Kendall Gray. Then Jacy Jayne ascends to the top rope, but Gray joins her up there and lands a superplex on Jacy Jayne and then shins an armbar on Jacy Jayne, but Fallon Haley lands into the ring to distract the ref, and then Reed pulls Gray out of the ring and breaks the hold as Sinclair takes out Haley, and then Jayne then sends Sinclair crashing off the ring apron with a rolling air cord, but Gray locks an armbar on Jayne, and Jayne Jayne transitions into a pinfall, but Gray kicks out and looks to land a springboard flame. Gray kicks out and looks to land a springboard flat lantern on Jacy Jayne, and Fallon Haley holds on to Jacy Jayne to prevent Kendall Gray from letting the move, opening the door for Jacy Jayne to connect with the rolling in core for the win, and that's how Jacy Jayne won with the rolling in core for the win, and that's how Jacy Jayne retained the NXT Women's title. Then Thea Hill then makes her way to the ring while several women in the back look to answer the call for the open challenge, and Tatum Paisley run in front of all of them with a chainsaw in hand to keep them away, and Easy Dame sneaks in the ring from the other side and runs over Thea Hill with a big boot, then being the one to answer the call to take away the open challenge from Tatum Paisley as Shawn Spears and join Easy Dame at ringside. And that's what happened right here, guys, with all that. And you got a new, we got a new NXT Women's Champion, Easy Dame, guys, and good for Easy Dame. She deserves it, even though I didn't want her, but I wish it was Tatum Paisley, but I love Easy Dame too. So let's talk about it anyways, guys. So the bell rings and Easy Dame fires up stomps on Thea Hill in the corner. She fires up shoulder on her midsection, and then follows it up with a fall-away slam, and then goes for a pin, and Thea Hill kicks out, but Easy Dame whips her into the corner during the commercial break, then follows it up with a cold breaker, though her off to the middle rope, and then Easy Dame pins Thea Hill, but Thea Hill kicks out and Despise Spears being ready to celebrate with Easy Dame and thinking the match was over. Easy Dame is sent in a submission on Thea Hill, then runs over her with a big boot back from the break and pins her. Then Thea Hill kicks out, then lands a suplex on Easy Dame, then lands a top suicide on her through the middle rope. Then Easy Dame interrupts Thea Hill and sends her crashing into the announce desk, spine first, and then slides into the ring as the ref begins at a 10 count. Then Spears reminds Dame she couldn't win the Women's North American Championship, promoting Easy Dame to get Tatum Paisley back in the ring and connects with a sit-out powerbomb on her for the win. And we get a new Women's North American Champion, and Easy Dame picks up the win. And that's how she won, guys, with a sit-out powerbomb for her for the win. And that's how she became the new, the new North American Women's Champion, guys. And I don't know what they're going to do with this North American title. Are we going to play hot potato with it, or what? I hope they have Easy Dame hold the title for a while, because that was strange. We had Tatum. Not Tatum Paisley. We had Blake Monroe for a little while. Then then all this stuff happened, and then we had the Thea Hill for a couple weeks, and then gave it to Easy Dame. So I don't know what they're going to do. So then back from the break, we had Eden Page. So we hear from Eden Page, guys. Let's talk about Eden Page right here, guys. Let's talk about this stuff with Eden Page. So Eden Page says he's a big game hunter because he begged himself a moose last week when he retained the North American Championship against him last week to prove that he's the greatest North American alive. And he says Omavemi and Leon Slater are not the main event because he is, and that says the North American Championship is the most prestigious title in all of WWE, which the NXT Championship is only defended one part of North America. And he says he's defending the North American Championship against any challengers from any country in any promotion and making him a national icon. And Jasper Troy's music hit, and he makes his way out, and he questioned why Eden Page is pretending to be the only champion in NXT who matters, and then says Eden Page isn't the only one who had a great 2025. He said he's out to improve. He's the biggest man in NXT in 2026, and says, well, the WWE Speed Championship is what he holds right now. It's not the only title he plans on holding this coming year. Then Josh Brooks' music hits, and he makes his way out, and he says Troy isn't on his level, and Eden Page is this and Lorenzo Stacks and Aaliyah Grace then appear, and Lorenzo Stacks says he's the only person from NXT carrying a TNA championship, and he says he's an international as he gets as a TNA international champion. Then we had Chilo Hill. I was thinking Chilo Hill makes his way out, and he says Santino Marella has a conversation with Everrain, and he informs Lorenzo Stacks that he's challenging him for the TNA International Championship next week, but Devon Heights falls and promises to dethrone Judgment Troy as the new WWE Speed Championship this coming week, guys. And then a brawl between everyone in the ring that breaks out between everyone, with Hill left standing tall in the ring with Grace. Then we had Obafemi fences Leon Slater, guys, and this was the main event, guys. This was the main event. This was a fun match, but you know what I'm saying? The whole thing with Obafemi, just leaving the belt there. I don't know what they're going. They're doing something with the NXT Championship, guys. We're going to see a new NXT champion because Obafemi had to vacant the title. So let's talk about it anyways, guys. Let's talk about this match right here. So Obafemi fences Leon Slater for the NXT Championship, and Obafemi retained. And let's talk about it now. The bell rings and the two lock up, and Obafemi looks for a backbreaker on Leon Slater, then sends him crashing out of the ring over the top rope and sends him crashing into the ring apron and spine first, and he whips Leon Slater into the corner spine first, and then lands another backbreaker on him during the commercial break and uses his knee to cinch back on Leon Slater's spine. Then Leon Slater lands a cold breaker on Obafemi back from the break, but Obafemi lands Leon Slater with a right hand on the ring apron and then fires off her since knee strike on his midsection. And Leon Slater sends Obafemi's knee crashing into the ring post and then delivers a pair of kicks to the back of Obafemi's knee. Then he sends Obafemi crashing into the ring steps. Then I'll sit again. Then dumps him right back in the ring and sends to the top rope, and he connects with a crossbody on Obafemi and pins him. But Obafemi kicks out. Then Leon Slater is sent to the top rope and sets up for the 450 splash suicide combination. But Obafemi gets his knee up and pins Leon Slater. Then Leon Slater kicks out the pin and Obafemi. But Obafemi kicks out. Then lands a sit out powerbomb to Leon Slater for the win, and Obafemi retains. Then he heads over to Ever Reign's office where he speaks to for since upcoming stars about moving to NXT roster now that several stars are noticed more could be on their way up. And Robert Stone burst into her office and asks Ever Reign if she saw what Obafemi just did, and the camera then cuts back to the ring where we see the NXT Championship laying in there and heard Obafemi's music playing. Oba is nowhere to be seen as the show went off air, and that's what happened right there, guys. And I gave this show a 7 out of 10. It was a decent show at best. It was a 7 out of 10 for me, guys. It was a 7 out of 10. And I enjoyed it still. Even though it was a decent show, I enjoyed it. I I gave it a 7 out of 10, like I said again, guys. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always, guys. And I gave this NXT, like I said again, a 7 out of 10. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always, guys. And this is CJD 2006. Peace out and take care and much love.